time after time, and this isn't the time to get really, really excited about anything just yet, but I've warned you multiple times. I told you, I said, just know when the Pistons finally get good, I am going to be a wreck. You're going to hate Pistons fans because of me. You're single-handedly going to be like, I cannot stand Pistons fans because of that dude named Manny. I've already warned you. I told multiple people on the pod, outside of the pod, plenty of times that just be ready. Just be ready and expect it. Now, the Pistons are finally making it to national media and making people realize that, hey, we have a star over here in Cade Cunningham. But even better yet, let's just go all the way back to the beginning, because so far this year, the Pistons, they've been on fire, man. They've only lost one game so far this entire year, and they've been killing it, man. Like 10 out of the last 12 games that they've won, and I'm just very proud of this team and what they've been doing, playing great basketball, honestly, if you're watching the games. And you can see the growth in not only the stars, but how much having shooters has helped this team. Because a lot of people, they're wondering like, damn, well, when did the Pistons get so good? They only won 14 games last year. How did all of a sudden they just become a good team and they're sixth in the NBA in the Eastern Conference and they're somewhat of a playoff team all of a sudden? How did that happen? And you know what? Let me tell you exactly how it happened, because one, they've been living in tragedy. They've always had the star in Cade Cunningham there, but a lot of y'all just now realizing that because they're finally getting wins. But the biggest difference that they've made, and a lot of Pistons fans who's listening to this, they're going to be able to hear me out. They're going to be able to relate to what I'm saying, because we know, come on, y'all, we know the suffering and the tragedy that we've had to face over the past few years. So we deserve to gloat just a tiny bit, even though, again, it's nothing really to get super crazy about. Still early on in the season. We ain't even got to the All-Star break yet. Also, Ivy got hurt, whatever. These are our side notes that I can touch on, but not going to do it. So let me just explain how the Pistons got so good in a year, since so many of y'all don't really understand how it happened, and y'all was just clueless to Cade Cunningham until last week. So first things first. So we had Manny Williams. Before Manny, I'm not even going to go too far. So I'm going to just start at Manny Williams, because this can be a whole history lesson, and I'm going to try and keep it short. Manny Williams, awful coach. They paid him a grip of money to come to Detroit. He really didn't want to anyway, but he still ended up doing it because the money was just too much to turn down. Anyway, you know, the 14-win season, and Manny Williams was just a wreck in itself, man. I mean, he was there. He was rotating 15 different people on the floor at once. No way in hell should you be playing more than 12 people, especially when you got a team full of scrubs. He was just pulling reserves, G League people. He was pulling anybody he could find to play basketball and potentially help Cade Cunningham win a game, which is why they ended up not winning a game, despite Cade Cunningham having some amazing performances last year. That was the first strike. That was the first big era of what the Pistons needed to change, and they fixed it, thankfully. Then they fired Troy Weaver. Troy Weaver was the GM here. This dude was condoning all of the nonsense that Manny Williams was doing, bringing in G League guys, bringing in guys who are way past their prime, bringing in guys who aren't even helpful veterans, but just guys who used to be popping back in high school when you was talking 2016 top 10 prospects, and also old elite college prospects who had big names at one point. That's the type of guys that the old GM Troy Weaver was bringing in for Detroit, and that's also why they did not see any sort of success there last year. So you got rid of all the washed guys. You got rid of the bad GM. You got rid of Monty Williams, who was an awful coach, who didn't know how to rotate the team and didn't know who to play and when to play them. And then finally, this is when things got good, because the Pistons, they hired Trajan Langdon. And this dude, as a GM, has hit it out the park so far, because the one thing I was saying we needed to do between last year and this year was bring in some shooters. And he's gotten us plenty of shooters. He blessed us with Malik Beasley, who's been on a tear so far this year. Brought in Hardaway Jr., who's been lighting it up as well. And then our young guys, they've been playing solid ball. It seems like they finally have some sort of good guidance to help them grow in the game of basketball compared to when we were with Monty Williams. He also drafted Ron Holland III, and Ron Holland, he got some game on him. He got a nice chip on his shoulder. He gonna run his mouth. He gonna play physical, and he gonna play hard, and that's what you need in Detroit basketball right now. So this is a good start. And then the thing that I love now is that Cade Cunningham is getting a lot of recognition, not only from Pistons fans, but everyone else in media and in the basketball world. Because my thing is, nobody nobody really, enjoys a superstar when they're not winning games. Like Pistons fans know, we've seen Cade Cunningham drop 30 on back-to-back nights, 30 and 8, 30 and 9. He's easily giving you 30 and 9 in your sleep if you watch the game. You can see what Cade Cunningham does and how great of a player he is. But the thing is, mainstream media is not going to care if this not is equating to wins. That's the only way that mainstream media is going to even blink an eye at what's going on. So now that the Pistons are winning games in 2025 and actually turning things around, they're celebrating, the social media is looking good, and people are opening their eyes like, damn, they beat the Knicks twice in the Garden? Like, people are opening their eyes like, damn, Cade Cunningham put up a triple-double in the Garden? Like, come on, man. So my thing is, like, us as Pistons fans, this ain't nothing new. We already knew Cade Cunningham was going to be one of the best point guards in the NBA. We already knew he was a top 5 PG. Honestly, ask any Pistons fan, I guarantee they tell you that Cade Cunningham has been a top 5 guard in the past 2 years. I guarantee it. But the thing is, when you're losing like that, teams don't care about what you're doing on the floor. This is a reason why we see the narratives around Zach LaVine in Chicago of, oh, Zach LaVine is washed. No, he not. Zach LaVine's still out here balling. It's just they're not winning, so teams don't care, and the league does not care. But if you look at his numbers, you'll see that Zach LaVine's still averaging 24 and 5 ever since he's been on the Chicago Bulls, and that's something that's been very consistent since he stepped in a Bulls uniform. I mean, it's far from washed. Look at Trae Young. When the Atlanta Hawks ain't winning, it's that narrative, oh, you need to trade Trae Young. Trade Trae Young. He's not the good fit. But it's like, you're going to trade a guy who can easily get 25 and 10 in his sleep? Come on, man. So that's all it is. It's just mainstream media is late. And for those who've listened and heard me talk about the Pistons before, just know, man, hey, I told you, 2032, you can bank on the Pistons going back to the NBA championship. I said it before. Go look on the IG. Go look on the pages. The video's still up there. I got it pinned just for you to see on a personal page. So go ahead and look on there, man. I tried to tell y'all, give it to 2028. We'll be back in the playoffs competing for an actual championship. 2032, the Pistons would have won at least one championship by then. And I say it because they had to go through all the BS. They had to go through the nonsense of bad coaching and trying to put it together and trying to get the right guys to actually build around. And now that they have that, give Cade 4 more years. He's going to be one of the most talked about players in the NBA because he is such a talented player. Damn the market, damn the team. When you're winning games, which the Pistons are doing now, and they'll continue to do, as long as they continue to build in the correct way, oh, you're definitely going to hear more of Cade Cunningham balling out. And eventually, by 2032, you will hear about the Pistons going to the NBA Finals and actually making something happen in the finals. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. And that's a quick take. Again, go back, watch the video. I've been saying this for years, man. I believe it was maybe 2019 when I first mentioned this. So this ain't come out of the blue. This part ain't come out of a random win streak. I've been saying this before Cade Cunningham was even, actually no, Cade Cunningham was there. I don't know, I might have. I got to go back and watch the video my damn self. But I know definitely Sadiq Bey was there, and I thought we were keeping Sadiq Bey, who was, I thought he was a tremendous guard, but obviously some things changed. But, hey, guys, they got to grow up. They got to grow up a little bit. By 2032, still got about 7 years, but just know, man, hey, Pistons going to be there. They're going to be straight.